who know me well, you who know me well, you know how much I despise being cold. I hate it. Hate it. So, giving you an update. Turned the heat on for the first time yesterday. Praying there's not some kind of problem with it, because again, we bought the house, the inspector, I've already talked to him, he didn't, you don't turn on the heat, so he didn't really turn on the heat, and, you can't really test if your heat's working properly if you buy a house in the warm months. I guess. I don't know. All I know. The heat seems to be working, but as I predicted, I'm cold. I hate the cold. I'm always going to be cold. It's naturally going to be cold when you don't have wall-to-wall carpeting, and also, to me, it's just less, shall we say, cozy. Of course, assholes will always want to think I'm not taking care of my mom correctly. Like, I told you, it was motherfuckers at that place. No one had ever done that before. But remember, I caused trouble. That's why when Joe's like, well, you should say something about this driver. No. My mom doesn't have appointments that often. It's not fucking worth it. I was totally in the right back in Massachusetts. These drivers are all back in Massachusetts, it was through you know what it was through. I don't have to spell it out. And I didn't do anything wrong. These drivers are allowed to come early. They were allowed to come 10 minutes early, okay? And you're expected to be ready. Or 15 minutes early and you're expected to be ready. They always do that because they want, a buffer in case they're running late or early or this, that, or what have you, okay? That's all fine and good. I can't prove it. The office person gave me the wrong time though, and I know that's what happened. I know it, because I was so... This driver was the only one who behaved that way back in Massachusetts. He ran, like I said, but also I dealt with the local buses that weren't city buses, okay? They were local buses for towns, not just my town, but towns like where I lived with my mom when she was living before me. Those bus drivers ran their buses like they were fucking the kings of the buses. I told you guys how they would leave early all the time, and I'd file complaints over the phone, and I got to know the manager and all this crap. But then these buses would meet other buses. They'd be connecting, and there was a thing where they're supposed to call for you to hold, again, a town. They have more, it's not like a city bus where that's set rules and set whatever. They're supposed to call, but if they don't feel like calling the other bus and you ask them to and then they don't do it, and I ended up being upset with a driver who I was going to be left stranded, but I did not, never would. I didn't swear at him, okay? And in the end, I nearly lost my privileges because this was also back when I was thinner and didn't look like I should be taking the bus. And I'll just be diplomat. I'll just say that because it's the truth. Remember the one that, hey, good looking, how you doing? And looking at me and whatever. But then he made me miss an appointment because they were leaving early all the time. And then my friend of a year fucking went off on me, started screaming at me. And I was merely telling him what another driver had done to me earlier. But they're all, a club, and he started screaming at me. I told you that we've tried to change this schedule with the opera and they don't do it, and we arrive here early. You're not supposed to leave early. I don't care what you say. You're insane. Insane, period. And my Joe knows it. And anyone with a brain knows it. You're wrong. You're supposed to get here. Us passengers, we're supposed to, it's on the thing, get there 5 minutes early. That's not giving you permission to leave 5 minutes early, you fucking moron. It's just so we're not running up at the last second, okay? You don't have permission to leave early. You're not supposed to even leave 30 seconds early. And I've seen city bus drivers pull over and wait those 30 seconds, not just in here, in California too. They will pull over to the side. You just think that you guys, private company, and I filed complaint after complaint. But my whole point is, I'm not going to cause trouble. I have seen repeatedly when it's a he said, she said, that I cause trouble, like Joe recommends, and it backfires in my face. In that instance from before, okay, same manager who had liked me and this, that, or whatever, they actually had a whole meeting about me because he's like, well, other passengers called up and said you swore at the bus. I didn't swear at the fucking bus. I didn't swear. I do swear, admittedly. I did not swear at the bus driver. But he probably, if he thought I swore at him and he's going to tell other people who didn't, you weren't even on the bus. There was nobody on the bus, and yet we're getting caught. Well, you think, I have to believe that there was nobody on the bus. I didn't swear at the bus driver. He told his story to his passenger friends, because these were passengers who would give the bus drivers like Christmas presents and things like that, and I'm the outsider, and they backed him up. They backed him up, and I'm not risking it. I'm just not risking it. That was a situation with the regular bus that I took. And then I had situations with the bus that my mom took being a senior, and she took for free, but she couldn't go alone, and I didn't do anything wrong that day either. If the office woman tells me the wrong time, but your mom was ready, that's an abuser. My mother was ready because she makes sure she's like that. I'm not perfect. It's hard. I'm helping her get ready, and I'm trying to get ready myself. And I damn well was going to be ready the 15 minutes early, but I can't be ready earlier than that. And he was having none of it. I don't want to hear your excuses. I don't want to hear your mouth. One more word out of you, and I'm going to pull over and turn around, and you're not going to get to go. And we were supposed to go to see a movie, so I shut up. But he was screaming at me in front of my mom. But later, they're not even going to believe my mom. They're going to turn on me because they didn't like what I wrote, because I was upset and I come across angry. Yeah. And I went to the mall, and I crumbled into a ball. I was wailing. My mother was scared for me. And it was helpless wailing. How he had treated me. I wasn't allowed to defend myself, but that had happened a couple of years beforehand with the regular buses too, with that one bus driver. And he did the same thing, and I know what an abuser does, okay? I lived it. He did the same fucking thing. I'm defending myself. You guys don't have a right. I missed my appointment. I had to catch commuter rail and buses and trains and all the whole 9 yards. It was my psychiatry appointment, my psychologist and psychologist appointment, and I had to travel far to get to it. And he was like, I don't want to hear it. You sit there and you shut up. And there was a witness on there, but you think they're going to come to my defense or call the office and say what the bus driver did to me? Of course not. Of course not. But I didn't do anything wrong. That's the thing. I admit it. I'm not one of those, oh, I do nothing wrong. No. When it came to both the the government rides my mom got for free, or me riding the regular one that's not like a city bus. It was a private company town bus, and I didn't do anything wrong. I tried to keep a low profile, and I was treated like shit. These buses don't show up, and I'm talking with a different bus driver one time. They just act like they're king of the bus and threatened to throw me off even in the dark. Like, I was talking to a fellow passenger about what had happened, okay? They were talking to me, I was talking to them about what had happened, and that they had actually started it, and the bus driver was eavesdropping, and then he was like, you need to stop bothering that passenger. One more word and I'm going to throw, oh my, so we don't even have rights to talk to our fellow passengers. I wasn't talking like loud or anything. I was talking in a regular voice, which I have a right to do. The bus driver is supposed to drive the bus and mind his own fucking business, or her own fucking business. That's what they're supposed to do. And then I had one that was not doing, and by the way, I'm not going to differentiate because it was all different. I was treated, there was female, male, there was all different, you know what I mean, all different ages, all different everything. It didn't make a fucking bit of difference. It's just the bad apples. Bad apples. Bad apples aren't going to do their job. Bad apples aren't going to stop where they're supposed to stop. They're going to do the wrong things, and then it comes back to them if I complained. And then I was scared of one and didn't even want to ride the bus anymore. I was terrified of him, justifiably. And then years later, there was one who was putting everybody in danger, and I was warned because I had stopped riding because of the other one I was afraid of, because he knew that I had complained about him, and he was none too happy, to say the least. What am I supposed to do? You're not doing your job. You're fucking up. And if I'm not, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? You know, like, I'm not going to report him if it's not affecting me. But this other one, a passenger said to me, you don't want to take that bus. He was a new driver. Why not? Because he goes through red lights and he goes through the commuter rail railings, and she's like, I won't ride with him anymore. Well, I filed complaints anonymous. Like, I had a rapport with the manager. I've known him for, not a rapport, he can't stand me, but, I could talk to him, and he didn't hang up on me, I leave voicemails, I leave whatever. This company lets you leave as long a voicemail as you wish. It shuts you off like at 8 minutes, and it lets you leave multiple ones, and, that was like, I loved that. I was in heaven with that, but, so every time something happened, I did it right then. I would wait, a lot of times I might be coming home after hours, because this was a bus that only ran until you couldn't take it at night, not like the city bus. And anyhow, I said to this manager one time, I said, you know what I just witnessed, okay, he's going to end up hurting or killing somebody, or himself, or the crash of the bus, or whatever. And lo and behold, he didn't hurt anybody. Lo and behold, I was right, because really smart. And I wound up hearing it when I stopped using it for a while or whatever. And oh yeah, he's not with us anymore. He crashed into like people's, he'd talk on his cell phone. He'd do all this stuff he's not supposed to do. Did they get rid of him? No, they did not. So I became one who tried to avoid riding with him too. But I witnessed firsthand what the other passenger had warned me about one day, when she's like, you don't want to get on this bus. I'm like, I have to. It's my last bus. I'm dependent upon this bus. I have to, So. But there are a lot of troublemakers. I'm not, like, intentional troublemakers. I'm not one of them. But I'm not going to be walked all over, or have you put me or my mom's life in danger and do all this crap. And there's just so many different things revolving around this private company that I took for all of those years when I moved in with my mom. And from 12 to 25 is a lot of years. Okay? And a lot of, mostly I got along with all of them. It only takes one or two to make your life miserable. And then if they're liked by passengers, to have your fellow passengers who don't like you, could be even how you look, and they're going to outright lie. And I, again, abusive background, I was saying to this manager who had been my friend and had been believing me, he's like, we're having a meeting, because I had to stand up for you and say you're not just some random, that you're a regular, we're having a meeting about you. I didn't do anything. They're lying. You're going to have me believe that those passengers are calling up on and lying about you. Yes, they love the bus driver, and I'm an outsider, and they're friends with him, and they're lying, and there's nothing I could do. He didn't believe me. It was just awful. And you think they're going to pull the cameras? Pull the cameras. I'm telling the truth. And they conveniently couldn't pull the cameras or didn't bother or wasn't, all that shit that, you're telling the truth. It's just awful. And I'm saying all of this because I went through so much shit with both the ones my mom was able to take for free and the regular ones that I took in the town we lived in, okay? It wasn't a city like Boston. And I went through so much shit that I'm in a new state now, and I'm not going to cause trouble. I refuse to do it for any reason. It's not going to do it. It's bit me in the butt. It's backfired on me repeatedly in Massachusetts when I was totally in the right, mind you, totally in the right, where I was like, I can't possibly be found, like, whatever. No, you can't. You know damn well you're not. I asked her to just stay in there. Do you like this good? This is. Well, can I walk? No, you can't walk around the house ever. You're not allowed. You're never allowed to use that walker without supervision. She knows that. I can't do anything. I take care of her continuously, and then I ask for a little bit of time, and she can't give it to me. For all she knows, I'm on a important phone call. I'm doing 3 loads of laundry. I'm straightening up all my closet. I'm doing stuff, and for all she knows, and she's shouting. She's shouting for a walker. She can walk around the house. You're not allowed to walk around the house. You're not allowed to have freedom. She had her she had her physical therapy today. Remember, I told you the physical therapy, all the agencies. We had 3 different ones, I believe, in Massachusetts, and they coddled her, babied her compared to him. He pushes her, and she rises to the occasion. It's amazing. I praised him, but he only comes once a week, and he says I can try to get more. I thought you was etched in stone. It had to be 2 months, and he's like, no, I can try. I can probably get more. All right, do it. Yeah. I would have preferred you come twice a week, but and then it being over. But no, I want as much as we can get. And the other one was on vacation and put together that thing in the bathroom, which is not exactly comfortable. But I can't trust her. I can't trust her. She's yelling, and I'm supposed to be able to trust her to just sit there. But of course I can't. Of course I can't, because it's all about her. It's all it ever is in her mind. All about her. I ask her just to watch that one thing, and then she can go to the table and make phone calls or do whatever. But it's always about her. So she started acting up, okay? She'd been doing so good, but think about, she is somebody who wants to live in denial. She wants to live in denial. We already know that. Live in denial. So when she has to go to doctors, she's forced to face it because we're not going to pretend. I have to say why she's on these meds. I have to say she has cardiomyopathy. She has atrial fibrillation. She has congestive heart failure. She's in denial about all of it. There's nothing wrong with my heart. There's nothing this. There's nothing that. So I was thinking, like, why has she not been behaving right? She was behaving so good for weeks. And what I really think is, I think she didn't like having to hear all the things wrong with her that I have to discuss with her doctor. I mean, we saw her primary care physician, who happens to be mine, because I hated the other one that I had found and thought had good this one had really high reviews too, but I found my mom's first, and thank God I wanted to find my own, because I had originally thought, well, this one has such high reviews, I'll go to my mom's. Thank God I didn't. Thank God I found my mom's and I found my own, because I wanted it to be separate. I thought it'd be better if we both had separate doctors, but now I don't feel that way. Simply because I like her and I'm not going to go searching for someone else that should have been good. The original one should have been good and wasn't. So. But that's what I'm thinking. It makes sense. And she won't tell me what's wrong ever. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. But she started acting up when we see these doctors, and also she doesn't want me to say what happened to her. But that was horror for me, and I have to at least, but I did not say it to, I smart, didn't say it to the physical therapist, because I knew I didn't want it to taint the lesson, the session, I mean, and she's doing great with that. I did not want to say, hey, I had horror where my mom was unsteady on her feet and I witnessed her nearly falling backwards and it would have been probably deadly for her, and blah, blah. No, I didn't say it. But I've had to say it. I have to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I have to say it to, it's just bad. But she was shouting for me, can I have my walker so I can practice walking all around the house? You're not allowed to ever walk around this house unsupervised. You know that, Mom. You know that. And I have to be able to do my own shit. I'm not going to do that. You get enough walking in. She does get enough walking in. The situation with our bathroom means that she gets enough walking in. I cannot back up with the wheelchair the way the house is set up. I have to wheel her in fast to go to the bathroom, and then I have to get the walker in again. And I can't even trust her to not stand up in the meantime when I say, please don't do it, please don't stand up, don't worry, I won't, just don't stand. Watch Nashville 911. It's good. Brand new show. I mean, I'm still watching the other 911. And I haven't watched all the seasons of the other one. I only watched just the last season. So I didn't really know the characters or whatever, but there was a plot line, because it's ABC and I watch a lot of ABC, and it was a plot line that looked interesting when they're showing the preview, so then I decided to watch it, and then I got engrossed in it, and then I just had nothing else to do. It was back in Massachusetts, I had nothing else to do, but a brand new show. And I had my mom watch it today on demand, because it's Nashville. It's gonna have country accent and country songs, some songs singing, and I just figured she'd like it, and it kept me entertained. It's exciting enough. And I'm still watching the other one, so So that's what's going on. We had back-to-back appointments this week for her, and how we get there, and we have to wait around, and you know, they don't want you. The podiatrist is like, we need that wheelchair for someone else. We just have that one wheelchair. I said, oh, my mom could sit in your chair. We have to wait. And she's like, well, there's a place you can go to. I'm like, does it have a bathroom, and how far is it to walk? So she has to go with the walker, but it was within the thing, and it was fine. We had to go a little ways, but not much. And then when you get there, you have to go to the bathroom with the walker, and she might not make it. Especially we have a big drink. It's like a restaurant, cafe type thing. And Mom, I bring plenty with us. It doesn't matter. We're not going to rush. If you have to change, it's no big deal. I tell you that all the time. What matters is keeping you safe. It's my job to keep you safe, including from yourself. Nothing's going to happen to me. Yeah, Mom, until it does, right? Nothing's going to happen to you ever until it does.